Water. The answer is almost always water. There's a valley in Peru that is filled with ancient infrastructure. The people living here today still use the farmland, building foundations, and roads that were built during the time of the Inca. This place is called the Sacred Valley, and I traveled here in early 2026. Before I arrived, I started looking across the remote mountains nearby on Google Earth for more evidence of this civilization, and almost immediately I spotted this thing. It was immense and beautiful. Its shape vaguely reminded me of something, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. But most interesting to me was its location, inside of a deep mountain valley surrounded by 2,000-foot tall cliffs with a deep, dark chasm in the north. And then I spotted an Inca road leading up the side of the valley. That's when I started to wonder if I had stumbled upon an overlooked and gigantic ancient structure. So, I backpacked into this valley and climbed to the top of that peak to see if I could find some answers. Looks like we're gonna be backpacking in. Sí, gracias, señor.
Okay.
Check it out, we have our hiking companion today. It's amazing, on so many of my hikes in Peru, I've had a dog come and join me and hike with me for the day. Good. So there's the Inca road. Cuts this jagged path up the side of the mountain and up to these huge peaks. We're gonna try to summit one in the morning. There it is. From the ground, it doesn't look like much. It just sort of looks like terraces. This is one of the most massive valleys I have ever been in. I would say the scale is on par with something like Yosemite or Zion. And I'm pretty sure we're gonna be the only people out here. All right, so we're gonna find a spot to set up our tent. So this is a very large canal that was built through the middle of the structure. Clearly there are modern aspects to its construction, but to understand this feature, you must understand that the Sacred Valley is a place of incredibly high rates of erosion due to the steepness of the mountains. Without intervention, raging torrents of water would have destroyed the fertile valley floors and ancient foundations of towns long ago. But large-scale engineering projects starting in the past and continuing to this day have been preventing this from happening. Across the mountains, the Incas would brilliantly disperse the water's momentum and channel it into terraced agricultural sites to nourish crops. Thousands upon thousands of terraces of all sizes and shapes cover the mountains. It transformed this area from incredibly steep and hostile into a place of fertility and abundance. Now imagine every one of these terraces is filled with colorful varieties of different fruits and vegetables. The Sacred Valley was a massive and lush garden that provided food for millions of people, all owing to their mastery of water, which also preserved their beautiful stoneworking. Most people don't know that around half of the construction of Machu Picchu is invisible. It lies underground in subterranean drains and ditches to prevent water from building up and toppling the walls. The very reason many Inca structures are still standing is because they were designed with thousands of years of water in mind. Many ancient canals have been continuously restored to maintain their function. Canals that were built thousands of years ago are still used to channel water to this day. The scale of this structure is unbelievably large. does look like there's some concrete that's been used. I actually think there's a chance that this big depression we're in is a reservoir. This might be modern construction. The terraces might be Incan. At this point, I had absolutely no idea what it was. My best guess was that it was some sort of terrace structure that had been recently reinforced with concrete. All I knew is it was far larger than I anticipated. Almost a quarter mile in length, or 400 meters. Equivalent to 3.5 football fields. And excavated to a depth of roughly 40 to 50 feet. A truly massive undertaking by whoever built it. Alright, this looks like our campsite for the night. We're gonna set up our tent right here. So, 2026 just started, and one of my goals this year is to make sure I'm giving myself the nutrition my body needs to operate at the highest level. And I'm able to achieve this thanks to today's sponsor, AG1. It can be hard to maintain a routine while traveling and on the road so often, but AG1 makes it easy. Once a day, I'm mixing up a travel pack of AG1 and drinking it. Cheers. And by doing that, I know I'm covering my nutritional bases and establishing a healthy routine in 2026. It's got my multivitamins in there, pre and probiotics to help support healthy digestion, and superfoods to give me energy and help optimize my immune system. Last night, I ate 2 PB&J sandwiches for dinner. That's because it can be really hard to find groceries out here. But I also drank my AG1, and by doing that, at least I knew I was doing something good for my health. So, if you want to make your 2026 resolutions a little bit easier, I suggest you give AG1 a try. They also have a new formula, AGZ, which is designed to help you sleep at night. Through my link, get 3 free AG1 travel packs and 3 free AGZ travel packs, plus free vitamin D3 and K2 and an AG1 welcome kit with your first AG1 subscription order. Let's get back to it. Look at this patch of old growth forest. Before humans arrived, the whole bottom of this valley would have been filled with trees. Come on in. Come here. Come on in. Fresh snowmelt straight from the Andes. There's no freeze-dried meals I could find anywhere in Peru. The only one I could find are these self-heating bags where you add water and somehow they heat up on their own. My expectations are pretty low. All right, so I guess it's some sort of chemical reaction. Okay. What? Okay, it is now cooking itself. All right, let's give it a gander. Well, it's just cold. Buddy. All right, come here. This is for you. Yeah, good. Had to give him something. Yeah, I'd give it a 3 out of 10. It's pretty bad. All right, I'm gonna try to read my book and hit the hay early. So we're gonna wake up, we're gonna go climb to the top of this massive canyon. Let's do it. I've been reading a lot about Peru, and I think I'm gonna be coming back here a lot. I had a dream. I was standing on a terrace while being presented with the food grown by a farmer who lived during a golden, distant time in the past. It was a plum, carefully cultivated over hundreds of years to maximize its nutrition. Nothing was sprayed on it. I couldn't eat it, but I knew its flavor would have brought tears to the eyes of me and anyone alive today. I woke up feeling better than I had my entire life.
Yeah, once you get on them, they're rock solid.
What do the people need to know?
5,000 tipos de papas. No saben todos.
Just a megalithic block in the middle of a city square. Like the Nazca Lines, many of their largest constructions resemble animals when viewed from above. So we just woke up. The tops of the mountains are shrouded in fog, and it looks unbelievably cool. Oh, good morning! Hi! You're still here! It didn't want to come in my tent last night, even though I kept trying to get it to come in. I feel so bad, it's cold out here. These dogs are really well adapted to the cold though. They have very thick fur. Alright, we're starting to see the first light of the day. It is unbelievable out here. So we got a little bit of fog clinging to the sides of the mountains. This one's called Chicon. It's over 18,000 feet tall. This trail is insane. It switches back on these huge cliffs. I'm just gonna start going up that way. I really have no idea what that is. It's really quite strange. So quite a significant bit of fog rolling. Hopefully it doesn't stay for too long. Some very nice lichen. Fairies with boots dancing with the dwarves. 14,270 feet of elevation. It's steep. This is crazy steep. 2.5 miles, 2,000 vertical feet. We are probably standing on the precipice of one of the best views I will ever see. We're pretty much at the top, one of these huge spires overlooking the valley. This is unreal. Wow. This is unbelievable. Okay. I was hoping to walk out on one of these ridge lines to actually see down to the structure, but it's just not happening. Look at that, just a little patch of snow. So we got a glimpse of the structure through the fog. Even though we're 2,000 feet above it, it's still gigantic. So my theory is that the placement of that structure is very intentional. It is in the bottom of a valley And there's cliffs and vantage points circling around it. And I think it was meant to be viewed from above. And this also is the perfect type of environment where you would see condors making their nests. So I think it's a monument to the condor that's meant to be viewed from the sky. Unbelievable scale. This is definitely one of the most incredible places I've ever been. Definitely one of the best views I have ever witnessed. Swallow. The condor represents wisdom. The condor was not with me this morning. I thought I had it figured out. I would come to realize the majority of this structure is almost certainly modern, and the truth of its origin came as a huge surprise to me, and points towards a fascinating and destructive history of this spectacular place in the Andes Mountains. This little guy joined me the entire way up here. What a good dog. What is undeniably ancient is the path I took to get up here. What a beautiful place. This is a classic Inca road. Somehow, they almost always figured out the most efficient pathways up incredibly steep terrain. The gradient of the roads rarely exceeds 8 to 10 degrees. This is something humans struggle to replicate even now, with modern survey equipment and 3D mapping technology. Thousands of miles of them crisscross the mountains of the Andes. So that's the peak we were just sitting on. 5 miles, 2,000 feet of elevation before breakfast time. The giant staircase, the canal, its shape from above, plus the Inca road, had led me to assume that it was originally a terraced Inca structure that had been changed and restored in modern times. But I knew something was missing with this theory. The terraces were barren and rocky, not fertile soil. The sides of them were sloped and lacking stoneworking, and I knew the river had a central role to play in its function. I just didn't know what it was. The key to understanding the structure lies to the north. This waterfall is 1,500 vertical feet, and there's multiple stages. This gorge must have been carved out by massive, massive floods. And in the springtime, when all the snow in the top of the mountain melts, this must be unbelievable to witness. It occurred to me while looking at it on Google Earth The entire basin above must have been covered in ice during the last glacial maximum, and now only a thin strip of snow is left. The lower slopes of the basin show vast signs of erosion, ripped up rock, indicative of massive avalanches, floods, and icefall events. The result of this is that the whole valley above is like a giant water funnel that would drain through this ravine and down into the floor below at immense speeds. The size of the debris flows here must be incredible. The whole structure is designed to stop the momentum of these powerful floods. The terrace steps disperses water flow equally across the floor of the canyon. The big depression traps and slows the momentum of the rushing water like a holding reservoir before diverting it through the center. Not to mention a small concrete dam I had not given much thought to. I was able to find an article from 2010 that discusses a massive debris flow coming down the Chicon mountain that affected hundreds of people in the towns below. This triggered an engineering project in 2014 by the Peruvian state to mitigate future disasters in the Valley de Ocoroyoc, which probably translates in Quechua, the native language of the Andes, to the flat place that has muddy debris, or the plain of flat mud. It was designed to save the roads, the homes, and the town of Urubamba in the valley below. Somehow, I had completely forgotten to look at the historic imagery before I came here. Sure enough, what happened comes clear as day. You can actually see the massive chunk of rock that dislodged from above the chute, and a path of destruction in the valley floor. The structure, brand new, appearing in 2016 as a result. Before this time, the valley was pretty wild. No construction roads, just small trails. It was much more pristine and beautiful. In retrospect, the answer was pretty obvious, but my past week of hiking through the Sacred Valley had really got me carried away thinking about ancient structures. It was a good reminder that I really know nothing, especially in a place like Peru. The big difference I should have noticed, though, was how much more thoughtfully the Incas would have created this structure. Nothing they made was barren or plain. All of it was ornamented with open spaces to grow beautiful food and crops.
Wow. So since I crossed this river last time, there was a huge landslide. It was not like this last time. Massive landslide. Oh man. This is gonna break my heart. I'm so sorry. You're a good boy. You have a good life out here. This is heartbreaking. He even went to the top of the mountain with me. You're really good. These strays in Peru are really wonderful. They're the nicest creatures ever. He has a good life though. He's not skinny. He gets to roam free and go on his own adventures and explore. Okay, go find some other adventures. Time to go get some food. I'm exhausted. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, let me know down below. This is Nolan Fisher, aka the POV channel. And have a good rest of your day.